Hello, what's going on, guys? Hockey Guy 1 here. Welcome to my review of Captain America Civil War. So, Captain America Civil War is directed by the Russo brothers and stars Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Tom Holland, John Cheadle, Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, Anthony Mackie, and Sebastian Stan. So the story is about the Sokovia Accords, which is about to be passed by the U.S. government, and the Avengers have to sign it, and they're split about it. Like, Iron Man wants it to be passed, but Captain America doesn't, so the Avengers kind of split in half, and basically Zemo goes around and blows up a thing that kills T'Chaka and kind of splits them up more, and they have to find out who's behind it all, and yeah. So the story is pretty good for what it is. I mean, that's not my movie. A certain DC movie that I reviewed had a similar style plot, and this one delivered it much better than that certain DC movie. And yeah, I mean, it actually develops throughout the story, and I mean, throughout each act, it's developed very well, and is very coherent, and it's easy to follow, and it's paced very well. Like, the first act is pretty well done, the setup, the entire movie, as well as the second and third act was done and well for what it is, and it's pretty good and a hood story for the movie, and I'm glad the way they did it. So Captain America's character is done perfectly in this movie. I mean, and it's done extremely well. Like you get why he's on each side, and I like that development that they have with him and why he's on his side. It's pretty well thought out, and why he doesn't want to sign the Sokovia Accords, and you get his development, and it's done very well. So Iron Man was as well done very well. You get why he's on the Sokovia Accords side. He's kind of got a gun as I guess he created Ultron, and you get it, and why, and it's done perfectly. And for what it is, his character's done, and it's developed more quickly as he kind of learns that it's not really in camp, but then over time, and it's good development for the character. Black Panther is who I feel like is the best character done in this movie, without a doubt. I mean, he has an actual motivation, and it is awesome. I mean, you get why he's against Captain America, because he thinks that the Winter Soldier killed his father when it was actually Zemo. And you get that. His character is done well in that case, and it's good development and writing of the character, and the way they just did it is a perfect way to introduce him without an origin story, which we did it in the Black Panther, kinda. I mean, it wasn't really an origin story, but we kinda got it, but anyways, off track. And Black Panther as a character is probably, honestly, the best development-wise in this entire movie. So characters like Spider-Man and Ant-Man are basically comic reliefs, just for like a scene or two, and I think that's fine. They didn't really need to stuff them in too much in the movie, because then the movie would have been totally paced. And I'm glad they did that with the characters. I mean, good as comic releases, they're funny, and it's actually really smart to do that, because if they put them in for more time, then the movie could have had it on their runtime and made it more boring. So I'm glad the way they did it. And I feel like the biggest improvement in this movie is Scarlet Witch's character, without a doubt. I mean, in Age of Ultron, she was just a bland character, and I feel like in this movie, she's so much better. I mean, you get to know her powers more. More in this movie, they're a bit more fleshed out in this movie. And she actually has a reason to be going against Tony. Rather, unlike the fin of Age of Ultron, where it's just kind of completely random that she randomly chose sides, and her character was just not developed in that movie. In this movie, they actually maybe shouldn't developed her character enough for me to care enough for her character. So the action scenes, I feel, are great in this movie. I mean, they're probably one of the best things about this movie, for sure. And especially, like, the opening scene with Crossbones. That set up the movie perfectly with all the stakes it had. And that was a fun action scene to see, and it was done well, and it shows off the new Avenger characters well enough, and it's pretty good. But the action scene that I feel like that stands out more than any of the other action scenes in this movie is the airport battle. I mean, wow, what a great action scene. Like, it's awesome to see all these characters get together fighting each other on each side. And the jokes that were balanced in it were actually balanced very well and didn't really get in the middle of any of the fighting. And the stakes to it is done perfectly, as you could. Any of them could have died. Right? And it does. I mean, none of them did, but there's a close to that scene. And it was a fun scene to watch. All these characters get together and fight, like I already mentioned, and it's a great scene. So the climax scene between Iron Man and Captain America and Bucky, that was an intense scene with a lot of stakes, and was very emotional as well. I mean, the ending of that was very emotional, how Captain America just drops out his shield, and yeah, that was a very emotional scene, and it was done very well. As well as this entire action scene was a really fun scene to watch, and it was done well for the type of story this was. So the acting, especially Chris Evans in this movie, was amazing. I mean, the way he was able to pull off that stunt where they pulled the helicopter out of the air, that was just an amazing stunt to pull off for Chris Evans. I mean, I can't believe he actually did that himself, because I actually searched that up and he did it himself, and that's kind of crazy. An actor can actually do that. And as well as all the other actors like Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, Chadwick Boseman, Elizabeth Olsen, Jeremy Renner, Paul Rudd, Scarlett Johansson, Anthony Mackie, Don Cheadle. I thought they all did amazing. Like, every single actor did great in this movie, and performed well. So the costume designs are great. Especially Captain America, I like his new costume design. It looks amazing. And I honestly think that's one might be my favorite design in this entire franchise, from what he's in at least. And it's a great design for his character, and it's done very well by the costume makers, and it was a good choice to choose. I like Iron Man's new costume as well. I mean, the way it looks is amazing, and it was great. And I like the color scheme on it. And it seems to change like almost every movie for him, and I like this one. I mean, it's not my favorite in the franchise for him, but it looks amazing either way. And new characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man, their costumes look amazing, and it was greatly designed as well. I mean, the way they designed them is very well, and it couldn't have been that much better. I mean, I like the way they look, and the way how they're comic book accurate, and it's done well. The visual effects are great. I mean, just about everything about it is great. I mean, with Iron Man, War Machine's costumes, they're obviously CGI, and they look amazing as well. as well as like whenever Vision and Scarlet Witch use their powers. I mean, that's great CGI and looks pretty convincing, as well as this CGI whenever an explosion happens. That's pretty convincing as well. It looked great. And the cinematography is also great in this movie. I mean, the way the angles are shot, the camera angles are shot, it looks really great, and all the set designs and places where they go is great. It is good cinematography for this movie. With that said, I do have a few negatives, like Zemo, the main villain. I didn't necessarily think he was awful, but I still think he's a bad villain. Like, I do think there's some things that are redeemable about his character. I mean, he's pretty intimidating for what he is. I mean, he doesn't really face off against them, but the way he manipulates them makes him pretty intimidating for me. But either way, as a villain, his plan is just completely random. He shares some of the same problems I had with Lex Luthor in that certain movie that I don't like to mention. But I'd say he's the better character, and yeah, for sure, over Lex Luthor, but in that movie. But he's still not really a good character. I mean, his plan is just completely random and out of luck. Like, it's not really very well developed, and doesn't really have much of a motivation. As well as Crossbones, I feel like shouldn't really have been in this movie. I mean, I'm glad that they had that action scene, an entertaining action scene instead of the movie fine. But as a character for Crossbones, I mean, did he really need to be in here? He's just kind of just there in the first act, killed off, and doesn't really have much to do with the story. So yeah, they're just two minor problems I had with the film. So overall, Captain America Civil War was a great movie, and I'm going to give Captain America Civil War a 9 out of 10. That was my review of Captain America Civil War. What are your thoughts on Captain America Civil War? Tell me in the comments below, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.